Okay, so I thought I'd play around with Desmos, do some of the tasks that you're asked to do, and actually show some things that you could do if you chose that are maybe slicker than what the tasks ask you to do, or uh, just kind of interesting side notes and so forth. So this doesn't exactly follow the task list by any means. So we want to add the data, and so if I go here and I highlight a couple columns of data, I think you could actually highlight more, but we only need two. So I highlight that, and again notice that I didn't highlight the titles there. So I can say copy here using the mouse if I wish, but when I come back here, I can just click in here. I have to use Control V, so you don't get to see me do that, but I'm holding down the Control key and hit V, and there we have the data, and it plots it automatically, and there we have all that, and I can zoom in a little bit, and I see the different data and so forth, and and I look at the bottom here, and that looks a little curvy, then that looks quite straight, and then this looks pretty straight up here. So I see three sections, and so I want to work with each of those sections. And as we saw, so I could again scroll way in to kind of see where I think things are changing, and I think somewhere in here between 20 and 40 is where it's changing. I have you do a divided difference table to try to help, and that looked like it might be more here around the 30. So it's not exactly clear. So and I suggest, well, start with the middle stuff and go from there. And I think we go from gosh, what is it? Maybe 20 up to 125. And now there are actually a couple ways we could do that. And so the quick and dirty way would be I just come back here and go down here to 20, start there, highlight the 20, go down till I hit day 125, and so there's day 125. Again, do a copy. I'm going to do a Control C, and then go back here and just in the next cell below that one, do my Control V for a paste, and you see I got the middle data, and X2, Y2, these names were X1, Y1. Now I'm going to keep them as X1, Y1 here, but if I didn't like that, I could go in here and say day. Now the thing is if I say day, I need to say D and then do an underscore to go to a subscript, and then say AY like that. And it's perfectly happy with that name, okay? And then I could do something here like cases or whatever. Or I could just do a D and a C, something like that. But I'm going to go back to the X1. The nice part about numbered subscripts is if I just say X1, it automatically puts the 1 as a subscript. So that's kind of nice. So here I have X1 or the original data, X2 or the middle data. And then to get a straight line, I can just say Y2, but now I have to say Y2 because that's that name up there. Y2. The tilde, which is usually up on most keyboards, top left. So this is distributed as, and then I need MX plus B. Okay, well, what I did was I just said, well, since it's A2 and X2 and Y2 and so forth, I just used an A2 for my slope, and then X2 plus, and then I used a B2 there. Again, you can use whatever you like, but I just thought, well, that works for me, and so that creates those parameters, A2, B2, and I think as I mentioned, I think if I say A2, oh, okay, well, it was right there. So I had you retype these. Oh, well, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I think in the project I said, well, you can't really get to this very easily, and I guess I'm not exactly lying when I say that, but actually, so who knows? If I have time, maybe I'll go back and change the change a little bit of the project to reflect that. I guess I can just say A2. So for instance, if I wanted to draw that line, it looks like I can do y equals A2x plus B2, and there you go. There I have that line. So that's great. And so yeah, I think I will go back and fix something in the project, because that's much better, because then if I update the data and so forth, it updates this automatically. So that will be fantastic. I'm not sure why I couldn't do that before, but I'm pretty sure I tried that and it did not work for me. So I probably had a typo that I didn't notice. Sucks to have errors, but anyway. So okay. Anyway, so I can get that formula that easily that way. Okay, and so I get that line, but as I look at that line, it looks like it's off a little bit, and so I suggest that you don't use quite as many data points. Now, so I could get rid of all this data and just do that, but actually, if I just backspace now, I have the 124. If I hit backspace twice, it highlights the 123 then and got rid of the Y value, and then I do it again, and now I'm at 122, and I remember that was that end. The bottom end, I don't remember. I think if I start here at 25, I think we got rid of that at first. So see, I'm just deleting each row that way, and so I have that. And what's nice is notice the black line, right? And I can turn it off and I can see the blue line. The black line here that I made is sitting right on top of the blue line, so that's awesome. And okay, so and we see this R squared 0.997. That's fantastic. I mean, you don't usually see that sort of thing, so that's cool with that data that it does so well. Okay, so that was very quickly how I can do that sort of thing. Now, I could have actually, instead of making my list this way, if you know what you want to do, it can make things a little easier. So let's wait a second. Let me show you with the next set of data. So so down here in this region, I can go back here, and I think I had you go from 1 to 40. Okay, so I highlight from 1 to 40, day 40 here. And again, I copy and I go back here, and maybe I want to paste it up here. So what I could do is I could just hit enter. I've got a cell right there. Now I can grab that on the side and bring it up here, and so now I can click inside this cell, do my Control V for a paste, and there you see I have my X3 Y3. Now it's green as well, so you can't really see that it got added. If I go up here and then click on that color, I could make that orange and say done, and now I can see that data, those data are there. And it goes up to the 40 there. It mentions there are 29 more rows. I could show them all, but I don't want to. And so that was a way to get this. Now actually though, another way to get this, and in this case quite easily from 1 to 40, is I could make a temporary indexing list, and maybe I'll just call that lowercase l, and that equals, and the way I can make a list with a pattern is, I can say, well, the first number is 1, and if I don't tell it anything else, it will assume that what I want to do is go up by ones, and now I can just do a dot 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 and then say, well, stop at 40, and you see I just made a 40 element list. Now you can actually put a comma there as if you were doing a list, so 1 comma dot 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 40. Another way to do it is, if my pattern, if I want to just tell it sort of what my pattern is, well, do 1 2 comma. Now notice it didn't change anything here, but if I went 1 5 comma, notice it's just an 11 element list. And so what it did was it went 1 5 9, because it went up by 4, 1 5 9 13 and so forth, up to whatever it stops at, which I don't know that would be 40. But it just made an 11 element list. Okay, so it will watch the pattern and see what you do. But so I just take those 40 elements, and now what I can do to make my X3 and Y3, but maybe I'll name them something else. I won't go with X4 and Y4, I don't think. Well, I guess I could, but yeah, so why not? So I could say X4 equals, and I take that X1 list, X1, right now it's 164 elements, because that's what X1 was up there, and then do my list, but put L in there like that, and notice it's a 40 element list. And so it made X4 the same thing that you see right there. And then similarly I could do a Y4, and that's equal to Y1, and put L in there, and that's a 40 element list. And so I just made a column just like this Y3 without using the copy and paste. Now that was the first 40 elements. Now if I had wanted to do it here, well, I've got to get fancier. Okay, and the thing is that to do this L that I made, this temporary list for indexing, each number here on the left, I had to start it at 1. I've experimented with that. It has to start at 1. And so suppose I wanted a 40 element list that started at 22 now, or 26. I guess I'm at 26 here. You know, what I could do is start at 26 and go up to, let's see, 25 plus 40 is 65, and go up to 65. Now I could make a bigger list that goes with however many numbers we have here, and you know, I can actually figure that out by using the length command, I think. So let's see, if I say x2 97 elements. So if I just say x2, it'll tell me 97 elements. But if I say I think x2.length, I think, yeah, it gives me 97. But notice now it's a 97. It's not 97 elements. And so, you know, what I could do if I had wanted to get the same thing as this x2, y2, I could have, you know, I need a list that's 97 elements long. Well, I'm going to do a Control C here to copy that. I'm going to put that in here, Control V. 97 element list that goes 1 to 97. Well, but I need to go 26 to whatever. So here I just go plus 25. Oops, I said 25 and wrote 26. Plus 25 plus 25. And so Y4 now is exactly what I had for Y2. And if you want to check it out, right, we can go in here and we could say, oh, well, Y4, let's model that as, I'll use an A4, X4 plus B4. And notice, same numbers, 172.86, 172.86, they're the same lists. Okay, so that is a way to make it. If I knew how many elements I wanted, so here, you know, I already had put x2 in here, so that's how I knew it was 97 elements. Otherwise, I would have had to figure out, you know, how many elements did I want. But this is a way to take a sublist of the original list. So I'm taking a sublist of that, or subset of that original data set that I had. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these because we have our x3, y3 in here, and so I'm not going to bother with those things, so I'll just delete those. Okay, and we have that. So so now I do my exponential model, and I say, well, y3 is modeled as, or distributed as, and here we want an A3 e to the B3 x3. And there's my model. Okay, and again, similarly, I could create a function. Now, I guess in the I don't just use y. I say here, say L of x, like that. Now I got rid of my lowercase l list, so that's okay. I mean, it starts getting upset with you if you use the same name more than once. But there's my linear function L of x, and then here I could do my exponential e of x equals, and then I have my A3 parameters, so A3, and then e, I use the caret above the 6 to go up for a superscript, and then I need my B3 and x. Not x3, but just x. And so you see that plots something right on top of there, and there we go. Okay, so we have that model in place, and that's where I can, zoom in and kind of look at what's going on, and that's where, it looks like I probably want to be here around 36 or 37. I want to be, I think, for a nice model, this smooth transition, and so I want the bottom data to probably only go to 36 and or 37. Now, in the project I tell you, well, here's how you can check. Just look at E prime, oops, backspace, of X. Well, there's E prime of X, but I want to know when is it equal to that slope up here, 173. So I'll just type in 173. And I see that that's around 36. Now I suppose I could go in here and do A2, and of course it looks about the same. So I suppose I could do that as A2. I don't think I'm going to change that in the project, partly because I think it's good to get you looking back here at how that's changed and so forth. So I think, but notice you could write something like that. So I'm just going to go with 173 and see that it looks like, at least what I've done here, I probably want to switch functions from the exponential to the linear one at this day 36, because that's where it's closest. Okay, so to do that, well, I need to get rid of some data here. There, I now just go through day 36. And here, I also need to get rid of some data, quite a bit of data. Okay, so there I'm getting rid of that, and I need to get rid of that. Now the nice part is, if I decide I have to put some data back, I've got the original data set here. I can go back to my spreadsheet and look at it, and I've got some of those data here as well, so I can do that. Okay, so we do that, and we notice that things change. Right now the slope is 177, and if we looked at the coefficients here, they would change. And actually, the more I'm thinking about it, I don't think I'm going to change what I have you do, because I think it's good for you to have to come back and think about those. Now, I don't make you turn that in that way, and so if you wanted to use what I did here in the video, that's fine. But now I see that that's 177, and so I need to check, where did that happen? And you see, oh, that happens down here. You got to be careful. This is 31, 32, 33, 34. Yeah, it happens very close to 34. Oh, so my data changed again. And so this needs to only go up to 34, and this needs to start at 34. Now, so although it's not aesthetically pleasing, a simple way to add the data, I don't know, well, maybe if I click there and I hit enter, oh yeah, that opened up a spot. So there's 34, and I look down here, 1525. So see, I can just put that data back, 1525. Hit enter. Well, come over here, try to hit enter. Yeah, that opened it up. Notice it didn't open it up when I was on that side. Don't know why. But this X column is treated differently than all these other columns. You can add as many columns as you want, at least up to some reasonable number. 1702, whoops, that was 36. 35, oh, what did I do? Oh, 34, I looked at the wrong place. 34 is 1393. Yeah, bummer. You were probably yelling at the video. You messed up, but of course I can't hear that. 393. Okay, so now I have that, and then I go back down here and I get rid of those two. And my data are set up, and look at that crap, look at that, it goes to a 33, bummer. But I see this, and yeah, I see that now is a 176. This went down to a 33, but you see that's a 176, so I've got to fix this before I change anything. And so it's 176, that didn't really change anything, so I'm still at a 33. So I'm going to run up here and have this just go to 33. So I'll have to add that 33 back in here. I'm overlapping because of the piecewise defined model. Now notice these two things don't actually match up in value, these two functions. I don't care. I'm interested in the slope. I'm not actually interested in being exactly on these data. I'm interested in the trend of the slope in this case. So a model, the accuracy you're worried about in the model has to do with what you need out of it. And really for something like these COVID data and so forth, we're interested in what the trend of the line is, or the curve. What's the slope? Is the slope increasing? Is it concave up? Is it concave down? I'm not really worried about the values themselves, because they can be off by a little bit, and it really doesn't change what's happening. And so, okay, so I need to get rid of this 34, and I need to toss in a 33 at 1289 up top here. So 33 at 1289. So again, I'll click up here, hit enter. 33 1289, and come back down and look at the damage I've done. Okay, this is still at 176. Okay, and so that doesn't change, and this is still right around 33. And so everything's good. All right, so here is how I would put those two together to get their slopes to match up where the transition is. And so it looks like, we go from our exponential curve up to our linear curve here, and at about 33 days. Okay. And I think that's plenty. That's probably all the damage I can do right now. Some just kind of showing you how to work with these things. I think that'll do it. So we'll call that the end.